Hi there, it's Sandra with the Bruce City Thrifts. Today I'm back at the Goodwill of Pewaukee. A couple weeks ago, my daughter was here with me and we just lucked out like crazy. We filled the cart and I didn't even make it halfway through the store. So today I am back to see what the other half of the store has in store for us. So let's get in there and let's hit it. Okay, we're starting at the back of the store, and the first thing that catches my eye is this large maitre d' figurine. Maybe nice for a restaurant, but not for me today. In the same area, I noticed this vase. It is a beautiful color. It's sort of a celadon color, and it's got a HAEGER pottery sticker right on it. Turning it over, $6.99, and it is stamped HAEGER as well. Not sure about the TJ Maxx sticker, but I think that is a beautiful, beautiful piece of pottery, and that goes in my cart. No damage at all. And how pretty is it? I just really love that color. It's gorgeous. This record player case caught my eye. It looks very much like one I had as a kid back in the late 60s. This, however, is more contemporary. It's a sort of a retro record player, and so I decided that while it is cool looking, it really isn't vintage enough, so I left it behind. There's lots of Christmas and holiday stuff out up here in Wisconsin already, and I noticed walking by the Christmas area, I noticed this piece of fused glass. This is a snowman with a little kitty cat. I liked the design of that. It was very cute, but it also looked, really, it was very kind of sloppy work. It just didn't really seem to have quite the quality I would have hoped for. This little trinket dish was pretty, and I also picked up this trinket box in the back. I thought possibly that it was Fitz and Floyd, but it was not. And then finally, I take a look at this little ornament, thought possibly that was enameled, but it was not. When I have time, I do skim the puzzles and the games. I'm looking for completely unopened items, things that they still have their plastic wrap on them. And if I find them, I take a look at them and decide whether or not they're worth picking up. Sometimes I find puzzles, and in this case, I find a puzzle that I definitely want to pick up. This is a Harry Potter puzzle, and I have colleagues who are big Harry Potter fans, and I think this would make a fun little gift for them at some point, maybe a holiday gift. So that went in my cart. On this shelf, I noticed this very pretty footed glass vase or bowl. It has an oak leaf pattern, and on the bottom I am trying to make out the maker, and it turns out that this is a piece that was distributed or used by FTD. I do not know what glass makers made FTD glass. I did a little quick research and wasn't able to discern. Anyway, moving on, here is a really pretty bee that is like a chalkware piece, but it had some broken legs. I really liked it. If it hadn't had those broken legs, I would have definitely snapped it up. And then a quick look at some brass. I think those are cups. I'm not sure. Moseying on down the aisles, I noticed this mirror. It looked like it might have some age at first, and there is a Celtic design on the back. I do think it was a very, it has the rhinestones, it has a nice design, but it looked to be a relatively inexpensive piece, and there were chippies on the frames of it, so I decided to put it back. Then I pulled out these. These look like the work of Anne Taintor, and Anne Taintor is an artist that my daughter really likes, and she's got a very kind of sarcastic sense of humor. And so I thought this might be a set of coasters that Zoe might like, so I decided to put them in my cart and potentially give them to Zoe at some point. So Perusing the pictures, looking for original art, collectibles, enameled frames. I do notice this cross stitch. It's nice, but not too special. Next to it is a little blingy frame. I do well with blingy frames. That one I decided to leave behind. Now I really liked the graphics here. This looks like something that someone, something out of a magazine that someone put in frames, and I definitely like them together. We've got Bride of Frankenstein and Creature from the Black Lagoon, and those are super cool, but the frames aren't that great, and I'm not sure if the prints are actually worth anything. Then I noticed another blingy frame. This one has lots of rhinestones on it. It's a good size. It's good quality. It's kind of heavy for its size, so I decide that one I will go ahead and take with me. I notice over here in kitcheny area that this mug is a bit out of place, and I recognize the pattern. This is an Anthropologie mug. I believe this might be the homegrown design, but I'm not sure of there's a lot of different florals that are sort of in this similar fashion and cover the whole cup. Anyway, it's a pretty teal color, but I'm not sure of the pattern name. I decided to double check and make sure this is Anthropologie, and there you see it. That is the Anthropologie logo. So that monogram mug is going to go into my cart. And then going back to the shelf, I saw this lidded sugar. It looked like it had some age. It's the International pottery brand. It's got some hand painting on it, sort of a farm scene, and it's charming. Not something that's exciting me too much, so I take a good look at it, but I do decide to leave it on the shelf. On a yellow end cap, I noticed this piece of pottery. This is a divided serving dish, 4 compartments, probably for condiments. And on the bottom it says USA. It's got a number E408, and it says Calif for California. $4.99 is a pretty good price. It's very heavy. It's got a detail all around the outside of sort of like a floral or a vine. And I am thinking about it because honestly, I love the color, but the style isn't really my thing. And divided dishes are kind of, I think they're not that easy to sell because they're hard to store. They don't stack really easily in people's cupboards. But I decide it looks vintage, it's very nice, and I decide I'm going to put it in my cart and think about it for a while. That I thought might have been a crack, but it wasn't. It was just a flaw in the glaze. So that goes in my cart while I consider it. I notice this napkin holder. It's very 1970s. It's a resin piece with seed and stems and different plants as part of the design, but it doesn't go for a whole lot of profit. Here are some glass beads. They've got some coppery metal design on the inside, but they look very contemporary and they're not quite round. And then I noticed that cake topper. I'm in an area that has some pictures and vases, and this one I think I looked at a couple weeks ago. This is a nice hand-painted ceramic picture with a country scene. I do like it. It's super heavy. Underneath it, though, this catches my eye. This is a beautiful onyx stone goblet, and I just think it's lovely. It's nicely carved, all intact, no chips, and that definitely goes in my cart. So there looks to be some vintagey glass on these shelves. I'm doing a quick scan and making sure my camera's pulled out as far as it can go before I reach for this piece first. This is a lightweight ceramic piece. On the bottom, it has a number. I'm going to guess that it's vintage, possibly maybe a narco, something from Japan. Over here is a very pretty bowl. It's kind of a peach color, not really quite amber, very heavy. I decide to move on. Another divided dish here. This one is hand painted and more contemporary. This was a huge and very heavy piece of glass. I would guess it was a tray or a serving platter. Super, super heavy. Underneath it, we have some Pyrex. I don't usually mess with Pyrex because I don't know it too well. In this case, the asking price looked to be pretty close to what I might expect to get on eBay for either one of those bowls. They look to be in decent shape, but moving on, I saw this very pretty bowl, but again, it's a more contemporary brand, and so I put it back on the shelf. Too far away, I spot this bowl. It is pottery. It has a really pretty glaze, and it's got a lovely intaglio design on the outside. It is signed, and for $6.99, I think that is it's a little bit higher than I like to pay because I look for the super bargains, but it's definitely worth it. That's a very pretty bowl, and it goes in my cart. Among the china sets, I noticed these two cups and saucers sets. I mostly noticed the logo on it. That is Franciscan, and that is a vintage brand, and the pattern is called merry-go-round. I'm not familiar with the pattern. It's not super exciting compared to some of the hand-painted Franciscan, and I decide to go ahead and leave them on the shelf. I'm making a lot better time here compared to a couple weeks ago when I barely made it halfway through the store. I'm already towards the front, and I noticed this very pretty candle holder. It's got lovely glass, and it's in the shape of a house. Next to it is this weirdo. I'm not sure what this is. It's well, it's a figure with the very like freaky eyes. Then I'm noticing this Hummel bell, and there's kind of a mishmash of things around here, so lots of different kinds of items that look like a trivet. And over here I noticed this is a puzzle box. I am rather fond of puzzle boxes. I just picked up one maybe last week or the week before. This one has some flowers carved on the top. It is only $1.99, and it looks like all the pieces are there. It's probably only a 4-piece puzzle, but it's pretty, and I decide I am going to take that with me. So that goes in my cart. I noticed this pelican. It is a hand-carved wooden pelican on what could be driftwood or just another piece of wood. Wooden birds do pretty well for me, and this one I like, even though it's got kind of a rough style to it. It's kind of primitive. I still like the style. I like the way the artist kind of rendered it, so I put it in my cart. Got a bunch of candle holders here, candles, and the first thing that catches my eye is that metal candle holder. Thought it might have a little age to it and heft, but it was kind of lightweight. Then I noticed this piece of pottery. This is a little bud vase, actually. I don't think this is a candle holder. It's out of place. It is, I like the glaze on it. It's very mid-century to me, and I think that would look beautiful with a yellow flower or, you know, a summer stem. So I thought that was pretty, and I decided to put it in my cart. And then I'm going to go right into a cart review. Here we have that bud vase. We've got the wooden pelican driftwood piece. We have the wooden floral puzzle box. We have a candle that I picked up. That's a little bit too much. I think I might have put that back because they're usually $6.99 and that one was $9.99. I'm not sure why it was so expensive. This bowl, this is definitely a very, very beautiful handmade bowl that I am going to take with me. Underneath it is, I'm trying to decide what to show you. Oh yes, the Anthropologie monogram mug with the letter D. I think the pattern is called Homegrown. Then we've got this piece of California pottery. I do decide against it at the last minute. I wasn't able to find a comp while I was at the store, and just on instinct I decided to leave it behind. I didn't love it. And I've got just a box of cards. That's for my eBay business. Here is that blingy frame. I'm going to take that with me. Here are the Anne Taintor-like coasters. I'm not sure if they're Anne Taintor because they had foam pads glued to the back. Up there is the beautiful HAEGER vase with that lovely, it's a little bit bluer than Celadon, but it's still a beautiful color. The Harry Potter puzzle for one of my colleagues. The lovely onyx stone goblet. I might keep that. I just think it's so beautiful. And then in the corner is a bunch of just like stuff for work. Nothing too exciting there. Anyway, the HAEGER vase is definitely the winner. I'm really excited about it and the fact that it has its tag, and happy day.
Okay, so this time not quite as lucky as we were last time when Zoe was with us. She's definitely my good luck charm. But we still had fun and found a few nice pieces, especially that lovely piece of HAEGER pottery and that drip-glaze artisan mixing bowl. So I'm pretty happy with what we found. Hope you had a good time. Like my channel, subscribe and comment, and thrift on, friends. We will do this again soon.